Hi everyone, Alex from AutoStore here. So this is episode 2 of how to design an AutoStore. So in the last week's episode, we looked at the Smart Designer and had the solution with the 40 R5 Pros, the 5 or 6 carousel ports and the 2 conveyor ports with about 45,000 bins. So this week, I'm going to show you how we'd actually design that on Grid Designer and hopefully show you a 3D mock-up nice and quickly. So this is our Grid Designer software, and this is what we use to design all of our grids, any shape, any size, from shipping container to a million bins, whatever we need, from one line an hour to 25, 30,000 lines an hour. It's exactly the same software. So how does it work? So on the Smart Designer, we said we wanted about 45,000 bins. So I can literally just draw that out here. So I'm going to do 46, 47,000 bins just to give myself a bit of a buffer. Obviously, it doesn't have to be square or rectangle, can be any shape, but just for ease on this, I'm going to start with that. From here, we can then add chargers, add ports, whatever we like. So I'm just going to add the ports along this bottom face. So obviously, the ports can be any position on the grid, but we'll just stick it on this bottom section to start with. So we need 6, I believe. So that should give us the 6. Yep, so 6 ports. And they are our picking ports, the carousels. And then we can add our goods in down this side. So 2 conveyor ports. And then we're going to need some access in case we need service or to get the robots in and out. So that's pretty much there in terms of what we need to put on top of the grid, apart from chargers for the robots. So we're going to use the R5 Pros. So we only need a charger for every 10 sort of robots. So from here, we can then add the equipment. So this is the R5 Pros. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the majority south facing or facing this end of the grid so that they can access the picking ports. So north we'll start with just 10 and then south we'll do 30. So once we've got those in place, then that's pretty much all we need to do. Just need to add some access points and we're away. So the good thing about the software, it tells you if you've made any errors. So we're on 0 errors there, which means I've done a good job to start with. So we can then, once we've actually 2D mapped out what that grid looks like, we can then see a 3D profile of it. So you can see those 40 robots on the top of the grid. We can zoom in on these picking ports, so you can see the carousel ports there, and the robots on the top. And that is as quick and as easy as we can possibly do it. Once we've got that, we can then run that through a ROM tool and get an actual price. So I'd be able to turn that price around in sort of 4 or 5 minutes from there. So you can see between those 2 videos how quickly and easily we can actually build a system and get a ROM cost to you really easily. So that's it for episode 2. So you can see across those first 2 episodes in about 6 or 7 minutes, we've been able to take your raw line level data and locations to actually a fully fledged concept. One thing I didn't mention in the design bit was the footprint is 31 meters by 36 meters for that exact grid, including the service area and the ports and everything like that. And that's up to 7.5 meters high. So it gives you a good idea of footprint required and number of robots and all of that. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to be talking through why you might pick robot A versus robot B, so a Pro versus an R5 or the B1s, why you might use a carousel port versus a conveyor, or when you might need a relay port for that extra bit of grunt. So stay tuned for a little bit more of a breakdown as to more detailed design. Thanks very much.